everyone. Welcome to the Pump Media Podcast one more time. Here, based in Wigan, with the one and only Giles Thomas. How are we doing, Giles?
Doing great.
Nice to see you, pal. Thanks very much for coming down. You're down here anyway doing the MD Global Muscle Radio.
Yes.
How's that going for you?
Yeah, fantastic. Really good to be back. Obviously we did the first 8 episodes. We had a little bit of a hiatus, so I'm absolutely thrilled to be back. Obviously we now have the next 6 months, so I'm afraid, Kris, you're stuck with us for the next 24 weeks, mate.
It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Well, the podcast started mid-December, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Not the best time to start a bodybuilding podcast, completely out of season.
Yeah.
Nobody's really doing much, and there's no shows to come up or anything like that. But I guess it was a tough start. But the guests you've had on, outstanding, mate. Tell us about it.
Well, I mean, I kind of set the bar quite high, and I thought, well, I'll just go for the best case scenario for the first 2 episodes. Obviously, I'll do it here. I want a co-host, which AJ, who flew in all the way from Norway.
AJ, by the way, is doing our production.
Yes,
right
he's
now.
the producer.
Shout out to AJ. We'll give you we'll put your picture on the screen.
Have you got the mic there, AJ? Can you say hello, mate? Or?
He's not. No, he's banned from talking at the moment.
He's very shy, AJ.
He doesn't like the limelight, does he?
Yeah, no, he was born to do this. In fact, I thought he was, when he said he'd never done this before, and as soon as he was very nervous even before we started filming, and then as soon as we started filming, he was just like total pro, and I was like, is he trolling us?
Well, he's come on and he's done a fabulous job. I mean, the two of you, the chemistry that you see on the camera is fantastic. The amount of content that you can put out in one show is unbelievable. Your brain is like a TARDIS of information. I still don't know how you recall who came 5th, 6th, 4th, 3rd, 1997, 1928, whenever you recall like that. What's all that about? Is that because you're a true fan of the sport?
No, I'm just bodybuilding's Rain Man.
Right, okay.
It's true.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just a head full of useless knowledge. And if I wasn't doing what I've been doing for the past... Well, I started when I was 19, working in the bodybuilding media, working for British magazines.
And you're now 40...
I'm now 42.
42?
Yeah. Started photographing shows when I was about 16, 17 years old. And then I started doing like show reports when I was 19, and then I set up my own website in 2002, and I kind of moved into that because I wanted something for myself. 2000, I've been working in the supplement industry as well, in and out. Kind of sometimes I'd be doing one, sometimes I'd be doing both. And then and then I worked my way up. 2008, I worked for a European magazine called Body Fitness. 2010, I started working for MD. 2009, like Muscle Mag, all the different magazines. I was working for everyone. And then 4 years with MD, then 2 years with Flex, and now I'm back with MD. And now you've seen the MD Global Muscle Radio. But back to your original question about the guests. Yes, going back, obviously I said I wanted AJ as co-host. Now, I thought AJ was just going to come over for a couple, and then I was going to have to find other co-hosts. And I actually had some other co-hosts lined up. But after the first 4, I think we knew we had something really good, as a partnership. And the 3 of us worked so well together.
It's a great laugh.
Yeah, and I just thought, and then AJ said, Giles, he says, for this to really... I want to be involved. And I was like, really? I said, if you're willing to come over every 2 weeks, then absolutely, that works great for me. And here we are. We're just about to record episode 10 very, very shortly. And like I said, we've had, the guests have been Phil Heath, 7-time Mr. Olympia. We've had Flex Lewis, who doesn't do podcasts, and who was talking, because we do an intro, just myself and AJ, and then we do, as you know, we go for a break, and then we have we piece it together, and then we have the main guest. And Flex Lewis was going for 2 hours 15, and then we decided to shorten the episodes to 2 hours in total, because I think most bodybuilding fans like to watch short, punchy videos, 5-10 minutes. They're the ones that seem to get the most sort of views and traffic, which, as you know, is the most important for retaining sponsors and building. I mean, building the viewer base.
One of those clips has had over 140,000 views already, and which is frightening.
And also the Phil Heath one, where we asked him if he was going to do the 2019 Olympia. I mean, I think the last time I checked, that was about 70,000 views. But like you said, it was a poor time to kind of start it. So if we could kind of get... I mean, I think it took a few episodes to work out the format, so I'm not actually that bothered about starting something, out of season. And obviously now we've got the Arnold Classic coming up. That was our original thought, that it was going to be a bad time to start something like that. But I think
with the experience and getting used to coming to the studio and the format and playing around with it, it's led us into a really, really nice position coming into the season now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's exciting. And you know, we've just recorded episode 9. Mm-hmm. We've got episode 10 to do tonight. Yeah. You know, I think the flow, the energy that's in the room. AJ's flown over again.
Yeah.
You've driven over from Yorkshire to be here, and you've come to the beautiful new set.
Oh, look at this set!
Crafted by my own hand.
Look at this. I mean, I was honestly, when you sent me the first pictures just at the table, and then you sent me the pictures with some of the branding in the background and everything. I just thought, and you did a little video straight on social media. I sent it over to the boss, Steve Bleckman at MD, and he nearly fainted. Yep. He was like, "Oh my God, this is perfect." Because when they started the idea for this radio, it wasn't supposed to be like this. They were expecting me to do something on Skype from home. I think that's what they were fully expecting.
Audio-based, no video.
Audio-based, so it could be me talking to microphone at home. But I kind of thought, well, I want to do something really special, something next level. And I just thought, I didn't even think further than the next 2 episodes. Yeah. And the next thing you know, bang, we done 8 episodes. Like I said, the guests were Phil Heath, Flex Lewis, Zach Khan, which is actually our highest rated one overall.
Top man.
Tony Freeman. We had Sergio Oliva Jr., who was fantastic. We had Brandon Curry. We had Dennis Wolf, who hadn't really done any interviews since his well, he says he might not be retiring, but that was one of the first interviews since then. A huge name, probably one of the most successful European bodybuilders of all time. And then the last one we did was Jose Raymond. And, I won't spoil the surprise for the next 2 episodes, but... yeah, so
big guests.
Yeah, big
all
guests.
Big guests. I'm kind of sat here wondering what's happened for the past 2 months. It's just been a crazy roller coaster ride for me. You came across to see me maybe in November to talk about the possibility of doing a podcast. I gave you a few ideas. We did a test run between me and you.
Well, the reason I thought of that, because only a few weeks before, because I was looking to get back into my bodybuilding photography, because I've been doing that since I was 16. And I moved away from it. I think I did 1 photo shoot last year with Alvin Small. But I think that had been the first photo shoot I'd done for about 5-6 years. And I was thinking, maybe I'll get back into my bodybuilding photography. Came to you for a fantastic 3-hour photography lesson studio, like a bit of a refresher course. And then you pointed out about, well, Giles, if you want to do a podcast. And then a few weeks later, it all came, I said yes to MD to doing...
Yeah, it's like it was meant to be, is what you're saying.
It was meant to be.
I mean, the whole podcast... scene for bodybuilding is quite big anyway, isn't it? There's quite a lot of people doing it.
It's growing.
The whole concept of podcasting is outside of bodybuilding is growing as a format, and I think it's a really good place for you to connect with fellow athletes, other people in the business, drum out an idea, drum out a concept or whatever it might be. It's great for publicising branding. It's great for publicising athletes and shows. And that's why I started doing my own podcast under Pump Media.
Yep.
Never before. I don't go on camera. It's not my bag at all. I'm not a big fan of it. But I started podcasting maybe about, I don't know, 18 months ago. Yeah. And we did a decent stint of podcasts.
I saw a few of those.
Yeah, and then Rosie was on.
Yeah.
I sat exactly where you were.
Yeah.
And then eventually that kind of tapered off kind of thing. And I never thought to myself, well, why don't you do these? Do them yourself.
Yeah.
And watching you and AJ and the fun that you guys have on camera and all those kinds of things... When we were having that kind of a bit of a time off from the MD podcast before we could bring it back, I just thought, well, screw it, I'm going to do some podcasts and see if they're well received. Thankfully, I think they have been well received so far. But yeah, the market itself is huge, and I like the format. I don't put mine out as an audio; I put it out as a visual. I do think being able to engage visually with somebody is something that Pump Media is big on. But you do both audio, both video. It goes out on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud.
Yep, SoundCloud, Player FM, Pandora. And I think I was really happy because I don't think we put it onto iTunes until episode 5. Yeah. And then we put all the back ones on. But when you put it on iTunes, because most people on their iPhones have a podcast app.
Yeah.
So if you click on that and literally just put MD Global Muscle Radio into iTunes, it comes straight up on your phone, and then it sends you a reminder when every new episode comes out, it pops up on your phone. So it's an instant reminder. So I think that's how a lot of the, not say fans, but viewers who watch the show, they say, "Oh, I've listened to it while I've been doing my cardio." One guy was saying, "I'm driving back from Nashville." He says, "And I do a lot of driving, commuting with work." Yeah. And he said, "I use your podcast to kind of get, listen as an audio through iTunes, and I just plug it into, because that's what I do. I plug it into my the USB in my car, and it's nice just it helps drive, on a long drive. And but I've got to say, Kris, you've been so instrumental in helping to get this just even off the ground, to setting the standard. I mean, the standard of this podcast, I don't think there's anything like this in the industry right now, not even in the UK. And to be honest, I know that we're still going to improve it along the way.
Well, we've not stood still. I mean, as soon as, I think it was episode 3 or 4, we were hanging around waiting for a Skype call to come in or something like that, a guest. And then straight away we just said, well, let's do a hot news.
Yes.
And I said, well, let's do it live.
Yes.
You remember? And I failed at the first hurdle. It went out without any sound for the first half of it. And I was like, oh no.
It was a pilot. It was fine.
It was a pilot. But then we spawned that when you come over, let's do, a 10, 15 minute roundup of news. Yep. Live on MD's Facebook page, and that's been well received. We put one out last night.
Thousands of views.
Yeah, so it's an effective platform,
because people get a notification as soon as we go live, and because we had a little bit of studio time. I think one of the guests moved his time, so
happened today actually, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this.
Yes, that's exactly why. Yeah, exactly. So it's always good to improvise, because if you've got the use of the studio, why not make best use of it?
Yeah,
so.
That's right.
But like I said, you've done I'm so grateful for
it's
the way.
It's a privilege to be part of the whole
I love it.
movement. MD have been great to work with so far. The guys there have been really supportive and really seem to appreciate what you are offering them through AJ coming over. They love this guy. He's a hero, and they seem to be appreciative of the effort that I'm putting in.
Yeah.
So as a team globally, and it says Global Muscle Radio, it's got a global team and it's got a global fan base. So it's a fantastic project to be part of, really. And the whole bodybuilding world, I suppose, can relate to this and go into this, because it's the people who are on the front of the magazines that you're speaking to. It's the people who are competing at the Olympia that you're speaking to. It's the professional league, and I think it's a credit to the industry and what you do as a columnist, as a writer, as an auditor of the sport. I don't know of anybody who can recall the information you can recall. AJ's in a similar sort of boat as you. He's very good at recalling as well. But I think as true fans go, there's no better two people to be doing what you're doing for the sport, for the professional league. And hats off to you, mate, because you've inspired me to go on and do my own thing on Pump Media for the work and the people I'm involved with. And it's something that's going to be more and more apparent in my business, definitely.
I think we identify as super fans first and foremost, and then we're just kind of doing what we love, and I think it's probably the easiest thing in the world for us to do, to come here and get enthusiastic. We don't have to generate the enthusiasm, we don't have to generate the ideas, they just come. The guests, luckily I've got a good reputation built up through the last 20 to 25 years, so guys like Flex Lewis instantly said, yes, of course I'd love to come on, and it's like, wow, we've got Flex Lewis. So it is, it's nice to have that appreciation for all the kind of the efforts I've put in, and obviously, AJ's as a bit of a rising star as well. So, but it's good though, because it means, as a team, and it's a powerful alliance we've got with MD, because I've got a really good thing going with MD now, and I'm really happy I'm very entrenched there now. Yeah. So, and I'm not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere.
Well, just going to do a couple of shameless plugs for you then. So we've got Global Muscle Radio, which is available on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Pandora, and Player FM as audio. Or if you want to watch these two pretty faces, you can jump over to YouTube and watch it on YouTube. It's released every Monday. The next episode is out on next Monday.
It's 9 a.m. EST, which is Eastern Specific Time. That is actually 2 p.m. UK time every Monday.
And then we've got the Muscle News Weekly, which you produce with your partner in crime, Rosie Rascal-Hart, which I think is a very entertaining show. It's got loads of updates from athletes that get sent. I can't believe the amount of athletes that send you purposely for that show, the amount of content that you get off them. It's fantastic to see.
We've done 37 episodes, and it's a 90-minute show every week. Yeah. And
you put a lot of effort into that as well, in the editing and things like that. So that's definitely worth a watch if you want to keep updated on the pro scene. You've also got your column, which is
MD Global Muscle Buzz.
Global Muscle Buzz, and you've just submitted your third.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
And clearly you enjoy that writing process, and you get a buzz from that. Pardon the pun.
Yeah. And
he also likes. He also a big fan of the puns.
Puns and sound effects.
Puns and sound effects. Anything else that you offer? Obviously, you go into the shows. You go into the Arnold Classic.
I fly out next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Where is that again?
Columbus, Ohio.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Coldest place on earth.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to be taking my long johns for that one.
And a new suit.
Oh yes, yeah. New suit.
So anything else that you've got going on in the scenes? Obviously, you've got Rosie Rascal range, which you're involved with the production and promotion of that as well.
Yeah, I'm a partner in Rosie's supplement range, the Rosie Rascal range. We've got 2 products out so far, another 3 planned in the next few months. Just brought out some new products like single serve sachets, the Amino Spark. We've got these nice new shakers, which literally just came through on my phone a couple of hours ago. They've just come into stock. And so we're just pushing forward with that, trying to build the social media side and the content and all the promotion and publicity. And and I just love what I do.
You do, and
it's very lucky. I'm very lucky.
You can see that in your shows. So guys, make sure you check out Muscular Development, and you can find Giles on the forums there, the Noble forums,
and AJ,
AJ.
We're regulars.
AJ's getting quite an accumulated volume of followers on Instagram at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he's beating me. Yeah. I hate him.
Where I have maybe 10% of what AJ's managed to accumulate. And he's only been on it for about 2 or 3 months.
I know. I'm going to have to buy some, I think.
Mm-hmm. So that's Instagram. You can find yourself on Instagram. Find AJ on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram as well. And we've also got your Facebook pages. We can communicate and see MD's Facebook page. Don't forget your sponsor for the podcast. Our sponsor, High Tech Pharmaceuticals. We should do a little jingle or something.
Little High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Get some AJ doing some beatboxing.
Maybe not. So that's a shout out to them. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Nope.
Just a quick one.
Nope. I'm done. No, because we've got a guest coming on in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so we better get a wriggle on.
Right, I appreciate that, Giles, and it's been great working with you over the past few months.
Thank you, Kris. Onwards and upwards. Absolutely. And got to keep striving, keep pushing, and keep improving everything, and keep working hard.
Indeed. All right. Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. See you again next time on the Pump Media Podcast. Take care.